Hi guys, just want to talk to you guys about a phrase you've come across, I'm sure, in your life. We've all heard it many times before. It's when people say, well, that really puts things in perspective. Now, when do you normally hear that? It's normally when something bad's happened, right? Normally after a car crash or, funeral, or, when you get a phone call from the doctor and they clear their throat before telling you some bad news. So suddenly all the clutter in life, the comparisons and the complaints that you have and the trivial worries, they get swept aside. And it kind of comes like in a moment of like a tidal wave of clarity. So then you'll hear people say things like, that's it, I'm going to be so much better now, I'm going to cherish and appreciate every single moment, I'm going to live in a moment, all that kind of stuff. And they mean it. And they mean it for a week, and they mean it for maybe 2, maybe even 3. But here's the real question that I've got for you guys. Why does it take a crisis to wake us up? Why do we need a cosmic slap in the face just to feel thankful for what we already have? So, I've been there. I've been here. I'm in immigration detention right now. So I've been behind the grey walls of a prison for way longer than I would have liked. And I can tell you that everything is put into perspective in a place like that, in a place like this. So the freedom to open your own house door when you get home after a day's work, hearing the sound of a loved one's voice in the background in the kitchen as you walk through that door, holding someone's hand without having to ask permission, kissing unsupervised, even a walk down a supermarket aisle with someone who you actually care about. There's stuff there that people on the outside wouldn't even notice. That becomes a dream that you carry in your chest like treasure. And yeah, to be honest, it's not enough. If clarity alone was the answer, then everyone would leave prison and they'd never reoffend again. But as you guys know, that doesn't happen. So the world's full of people who've had their wake-up call and they choose to hit the snooze button. And, I've definitely made mistakes after post-prison myself as well. So you just have to look at the recidivism rates that are through the roof. So many of us get out and we swear we've changed, and then we just spiral back into the same cycle. And you have to ask the question, why? And I think it's truly down to perspective. Because perspective isn't a moment, it's practice. There's a psychiatrist and actual Holocaust survivor called Viktor Frankl, you guys may have heard of. And he had this phrase, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So inside walls like these where, options shrink, become very limited, many of us do find ourselves. But the real test actually comes after. When life gets loud again, when nobody's actually watching, that's when your spark can either become a flame or it's going to burn out. So if we look at Stoic philosophy for a second, there was a saying that goes around, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that truly matters. And I guess that's basically pointing at is like that circumstances are the wake-up call, but the perspective, that's your responsibility. That's your daily single responsibility. And that's a trap. See, our brains are so much built for survival, they're not built for serenity. There's psychologists they call it hedonic adaptation. So we have a tendency to get used to good things. That dream job or the dream car or the dream house. And what happens when you attain those things? Give it a few weeks, give it a few months. It just becomes background noise. And then we just go back to longing for things and complaining about things and just wanting more. So what do we do about it? Well, in my opinion, what we do is we practice. We notice, we observe what's going on around us, and we choose perspective. And we choose perspective not because something bad just happened, but because something good is happening right now to all of us. Just look around and you'll find it. And you don't want to miss out on that opportunity either to realise the goodness that's happening in your life. We remember that one day we begged for what we already have. We let the little things be enough. Because if you can smile and laugh just by walking hand in hand down a supermarket aisle with someone that you truly love, if you can, treasure the sound of someone laughing at your bad jokes, if you can say thank you for the boring bits, and you've cracked the code, haven't you? You know, you may not realise how simple it is, but you have. And maybe, just maybe, the next time life throws you that slap, you'll already be awake.